everyone.
I'm back, baby.
It's Jake Ciely.
I'm great. Everybody else sucks.
Oh, hell.
Oh, no. It's every nightmare I've ever had.
Excuse me?
It's time to check the link.
Pretty crazy, huh? But it doesn't matter because none of this has anything to do with the show.
You know what? You just made the list.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time. Really? No.
What is up, you docs? Week 14 is almost in the books. It is All In Football live on BetsTV, which you can watch on the YouTube channel, which a lot of you are, but also on BetsTV. And welcome to our friends in Canada, as always. Chris is bundled up. I guess it's super cold time for Canada, although when is it not?
Tis the season, man. It's a little chilly out there, not gonna lie.
Are you directing traffic or like working at a construction site after this? What's with the bright orange?
Shake and bake, baby.
Oh, nice.
Little Baker. I had to give him a little bit of love yesterday. You know, he's
Nice.
he's dealing with multiple injuries, and his Browns escaped with a victory yesterday, so I got to give him a little love.
It did. There's a lot of teams dealing with multiple injuries. We're going to be talking about that today. Make sure if you're not part of FTN and getting all of the best of the bets that Chris gives for NHL, which I haven't gotten into yet. 3 weeks away, Chris? I'm going to be hitting you up and ruining all your picks for you. But
Oh, no.
code all in, 20% off over at FTN, and still have the first free month going on. If you haven't signed up to The Athletic, theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals, and you get that first free month. And Chris, how many playoffs you in?
I play in a lot of fantasy leagues, so
I don't do that. How many you in?
nine.
Come on.
Nine?
Okay.
9 or 10. But I'm also out in like 8 or 9, so I do play in quite a few
So like
leagues.
50-50?
My home league I
50-50
made
is actually pretty
50-50.
good.
Pretty good because it was looking real rough. Honestly, I squeaked in about 3 or 4 yesterday. Pretty lucky. Just had the right things work out, win a couple tiebreakers. So it was looking like I was only going to make maybe 4, and I was pretty bummed about that. I at least made my home league and my other league that I care. The one league I care the most about, honestly, that's not like industry, flex with you and a couple other people, is I'm not going to make it. I almost came dead last. It's a devastating year in that league.
Nice, dead last, yes. So for everybody out there, real quick, too, hopefully you're still watching just for the entertainment of it all. But everybody always talks about how do I prevent tanking and blah, 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 like, and teams not caring or whatever. So here's how, because now play the toilet bowl, but don't play the toilet bowl for no reason. The winner of the toilet bowl gets the first pick if you still do snake, or first option of what draft position they want. Like, let them pick. Like, let them pick 3 or 4 if they want it. If they want 7. But this is how you do it. The winner of the toilet bowl, second place, third place, that bottom 4, 6, however many teams are in your league or whatever it might be, that plays out and plays for real, so people can not only still keep playing, they don't tank, they don't have to have nothing to play for now that it's week 15 that's coming up and everything like that. Again, that's how, if you still play snake, if something else, you can still come up with other things for auction league or something, figure something else out. But if you're still playing snake,
you can award people $20. I mean, if your league's a money league, it's a little bit of incentive. But we do the same thing as what you just said. You have to have a bit of a consolation bracket. You have to have respect for the league. Yeah, there's none of this in my leagues. Like, if you're last place, you're rostering players. People have a lot of respect for the leagues that I'm in, and it's usually okay. The people that are not going to make the playoffs usually wait a day or so when the waivers run, give everybody opportunity to pick their guys, but they always have a full
we have that
roster.
rule too.
There's none of this like 3 guys that are not even playing in the roster. You don't have any layups.
Yeah, so that same thing. Consolation bracket, when our waivers run on Wednesday, you have to wait till Thursday. So
we do that too.
Same thing. So you can still run waivers to still try and win the consolation bracket, but the top end bracket, again, you don't have to play by these exact rules. You can say no waivers at all for the consolation bracket, whatever you want to do. But just, like I said, some interesting things, more so that it's not even just something to play for, but just so that your season's not over. You can still watch fantasy football and root for it. And by the way, good eye, Sandstra. Yes, Chris didn't even notice at first that Heineke was taken down because I got my Sunday delivery. Kyler Murray autographed jersey from Pristine Auction. I'm blocking the Austin Eckler signed mini helmet that's right behind me. If you're not watching live, this is why you watch live on YouTube. I actually watched a replay on YouTube. And yes, Austin Eckler got hurt yesterday. Precautionary. It sounds like he should be okay, but a lot to deal with. The reason I don't have a number 2 seed, let's start off with this one, Chris, in my home league, is because Lamar Jackson got hurt. And I got 1 point from my quarterback position. we're not talking about this game, but as the curse of ICCU, which if anybody doesn't know, Chris knows what it is. I Ciely curse you. Started when I started in this industry. If I tried to trade for you, if I traded for you, if I have you on multiple rosters, you're going to get hurt or ruin things. I traded for Travis Kelce during the bye. You know what Travis Kelce's done since the bye?
Not much.
2 for 37, both games.
Yeah,
or is it 3 for
both
37?
Games. Yeah, yesterday I had him as one of my best prop bets yesterday on the Sunday morning show, the betting show over at FTN. And I mean, the game script, I still feel like we probably would have gotten it if that game wasn't over before the end of the first quarter, or if the Raiders decided to just not go to the center field and celebrate or whatever they had to do on the logo. It was a pretty embarrassing performance from the Raiders yesterday, but that game was out of hand. So I feel like you're a little bit unlucky there.
You think so? You're telling me the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are not a team that you want to try and give more reason?
What the hell are they thinking? Like, honest to God, man, what the heck was that last night? The Raiders are a joke. I mean, they've been broken. I know they've dealt with a lot over the past few weeks, but they've been broken on offense for a few weeks. And the broadcast talked about that before the game started, that they the rivalry is real. The Raiders are amped up for this game because of last season. Like, they got crushed earlier in the year against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So I have no idea what they were thinking last night heading into that game.
Yeah, they did. They wanted to get Josh Gordon finally. We talked about Josh Gordon finally in Week 14. He got his touchdown. Mr. Nice Guy, yes. Hooper for a touchdown. That was the chalkiest chalk that I've ever chalked in the chalk of chalking him.
I was surprised he was plus money, 3.5 catches, too. Like, it was a nice bet. A lot of, I don't know, what we call them, post-type sleepers. Like Rashad Penny showed up yesterday, too. Josh
we're going to get to that.
One of those guys, but it's like a little, like, what year is it, man?
Lamar Jackson, let's get back to what we were starting off with this. So there was 2 injuries in here. Lamar Jackson got hurt. But also, Bateman was nothing until the fourth quarter because Watkins got hurt again. So, in case anybody doesn't know and only looks at the box score, let's say Watkins plays Week 15. We'll get to Lamar Jackson in a second. But Watkins plays, we're still not throwing Bateman right back out there, right? Because until the fourth quarter, he was still playing behind everybody, right? We're not going to take away that fourth quarter from anything? Or are you going to take a little bit from it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was just looking at the schedule and the Packers and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I think he just kind of fell into some targets and stuff. Yeah, if Sammy's out there, it's not great for his outlook.
Okay, so how much of a concern? So here's the question I have for you. This is going to be presented in only one specific way.
Yeah.
If Lamar Jackson plays in Week 15, there's a lot of time. Haven't even done waivers, haven't even done rankings. We have a lot of time. This could be a different answer come Friday. But a lot of people thinking in the back of their mind, and I wanted to lay it out, Chris. If Lamar Jackson doesn't practice Wednesday, limited Thursday, limited Friday, he's playing. But how has Lamar Jackson been playing the last couple weeks? So, limited practices, bad play the past couple weeks. It's your first round of your playoffs. Is Lamar Jackson your quarterback? This is a legitimate question.
It is a legitimate question. I don't know, man. Like, again, against the Packers, like, it's a tough defense, and he hasn't played good. I mean, he's thrown 13 picks and just 16 touchdowns. I'd be looking at other options, like Jalen Hurts. I'd probably start over him against Washington. Are we doing Taysom Hill? I know it's against the Bucs.
Yes.
That's a tough one. Against the Bucs? Yeah.
He scores 2 touchdowns every single game he plays.
And he's got 50, holy crap, he's got 52 fantasy points in 2 games here, and he's got 4 picks and 2 passing touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. This is the time of the year. You know it. You're going to get all these questions. Obviously, everyone must win. I get it. It's tough. Sometimes you overthink things, but it really is. I mean, you got to roll out a healthy quarterback. You got to roll out one that's going to give you a solid floor at least. And usually that's Lamar, but Taysom right now,
does Taysom have a floor, though? Does he have a floor? Like that? Because your hesitancy when you asked the question, so he's QB4 as of now with Monday Night Football pending. He's QB6 last week with 4 interceptions. Yeah. But I think we have to be honest. What if he doesn't get 2 rushing touchdowns? What if he only gets 1 rushing touchdown and still throws for nothing and then has a pick? So, I mean, is the floor still there, really? Because right behind him, better floor, Taysom Hill or Russell Wilson? I'm going to say
Russell, but this is I don't know, at the Rams, he typically doesn't do great against the Rams. Like, that's not a start I'm excited about. I'd rather roll out, Lamar on Wednesday.
Better floor. This one might surprise you. Taysom Hill, and I paused for the impact there. I pulled the Jim Rome right there. That might have been a little bit too long of a pause, but
I know I had to like double check to see if you were still there. If I lost
see if the audio. Like, have you ever turned into Jim Rome as he's doing a pause? You're like, wait, is the radio on? Did I? Anyway, so Taysom Hill floor or facing Atlanta, Jimmy Garoppolo floor.
I might take Jimmy there. I would take Jimmy there against the Falcons. Yeah, I mean, he's got the offense is starting to tick up a little bit. Oh, man, I don't like Jimmy as a quarterback. I think that's the reason the Niners won't make noise in the playoffs. But he's got to hook up with one of these guys.
Won't make noise.
Like
they already
Ayuk
just
or
today
Kittle.
said they're not even committed to what the change is going to be for 2022 because of how Garoppolo is playing.
Oh, my goodness. Stop it.
Yeah, hey, I'm just telling you that's how it happens.
I know.
Kareem Hunt is going for a test. Sounds like he wanted to come back into the game, but they said no reason to, so have to watch on that. So you kind of jumped ahead, and if anybody's ever seen Flight of the Conchords, I want to be like, it's Penny time. Do you know Is Business Time? Did you ever watch Flight of the Conchords?
No.
Ah!
You're alone on this one, but I'm sure
people
some
know
of the viewers are. Yeah.
Flight of the Conchords is great. It's only 2 seasons. Go back and watch it. It's the greatest thing ever. Jermaine Clement, go watch it. Trust me. Anyway, it's business time. Giving the business time. It is Rashad Penny. Has finally happened, Chris. After 18 years of waiting, I was born. I went to college, and I said, Rashad Penny is going to be a thing. And 18 years later, well, no, wait, that's not even the right number. Anyway, point being, Rashad Penny's finally happened, Chris.
Yeah, it has.
Legitimately, because in the pregame reports, which is why I try to ignore a lot of that stuff on Sunday morning, there's going to be a tie into this, Chris. So this is a little sneak tease for later, like a TV show. But the pregame reports was that Alex Collins was getting the first touches in the pregame warmups. Rashad Penny was getting the second. Rashad Penny went ham. Went bananas. We've been waiting for this forever. Is Rashad Penny top 20, top 15? Like, does this one game tell you about Rashad Penny?
I think so. The rest of the way, he's probably top 20. Man, I was excited. I didn't buy into those Alex. We've seen Alex Collins. Like, he may have started and got the first carry all he wanted, but he's just been so trash for the past few weeks. And it was nice to see Penny. You know, he looked pretty explosive, man. That first touchdown that he had when he just kind of stiff-armed the defender, like, that was solid. 16 for 137 and 2 touchdowns. So now he's got, 26 carries over the last 2 weeks. Tough spot this coming week against the Rams with the Bears in Detroit to wrap things up. This guy could be a league winner. He could be for you. I mean, you could have picked him up as, like a flex guy, and you're rolling him out there and just hoping that, he falls into the end zone for you. We know what Seattle wants to do. I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited about him. Like, to that point where he's an RB2, low-end RB2. Like, that we can't get too over the top.
But this is like so I had, and if anybody's out there has ever had this happen, the trials and tribulations of going through this. I had a relationship where we broke up twice and got back together. So we were together 3 times. Yeah. This kind of feels like this. So I'm trying. No. I'm trying to, if anybody, you break up once and you don't not come back. Like, just if you break up, there's a reason you broke up. Move on. Lesson learned from myself, from my own life, from everybody out there that's been through it. So I'm trying to get other people's opinion on Rashad Penny because I'm just trying to make sure this isn't my leftover love that I've had for years and years and years. Because you remember 2 weeks ago, Chris, I said, I'm over Penny. Like, he came back. He doesn't even look good. It took him a few games. He has looked good. He has. He definitely does. And maybe it was just a slow start coming in the middle of the season. It wasn't 100% game shape. I put that in quotes. But now he does look like that. So I just want the clarity. I want to make sure I'm not looking at this with rose-colored glasses, and I want to run to him on the hills and through the fields and embrace in slow motion as, flowers and butterflies go away. I want to make sure that if I do that, I'm not going to be hurt, Chris. I don't want to do that and then have my heart broken again.
Well, listen, it's very, very possible, right? This could be.
I can't do that. This has been not a great year for Jake's heart in 2021. Remember, Chris, you can't do this to me.
Well, listen, roughly this time of the year, 2 years ago, he did this to you, probably originally. This may have been the second breakup that you had with Rashad Penny. So November 24th, remember when he went into Philadelphia, 14 for $129. He had a touchdown, and then the following week against the Vikings, he was 15 for 74, caught 4 passes, had 2 touchdowns. touchdowns. So he had back-to-back really strong weeks. And I remember you and I doing shows together and talking about what we're talking about right now with Rashad Penny. Is he here? Could he be a league winner? It's just all about health. It really is. Unfortunately, that's what it's come down to for Penny. You see, like in a couple runs yesterday, you could see the upside and the reason maybe Seattle was thinking they took him in the first round.
It's in Los Angeles, so
it's a tough spot, man.
I'll take him to coffee. All right, like maybe we'll
take him to coffee.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So, if somebody did know Flight of the Conchords, and I will show for everybody in the chat, Azar. So yes, when you say my rankings on Fantasy Pros are not till about 12:50, it's probably actually more like 12:55. That's on purpose because Fantasy Pros gets them at the last second. They are updated on the site. They're updated at 12:10-ish or whatever because you're paying for the site. Not saying like ha, but you're paying for the site. So that's part of the thing is the Athletics said if I can still do the Fantasy Pros, that's why, because they're not out there for free for everybody. So I'm sorry that you can't combine mine with others, but you could check the two at the same time. It's not a perfect world, but hey, at least they're there and in the contest, maybe, whatever. But that's the point because you're paying for them. That's why they're on the Athletic site. Right. So anyway, moving on from there. Do you want to talk good or bad next, Chris? Let's put it that way.
Bad.
And I'm legitimately bad. All right, well then that's very easy. So let's talk Jacksonville. Let's talk Jacksonville and Urban Meyer with the handshake scene around the world, with the post-game interview, which everybody's now seen, and I even turned into a GIF with that. Really, yeah. Did you see the one where the guy asked him about his offensive line?
Yeah, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you start because James Robinson, snap-wise, got the majority of work back, but 6 carries for 4 yards. The Jaguars' offense is beyond broken. Can you legitimately start anybody? James Robinson, and I'm asking you, James Robinson, it's Houston. You got to start him, right? We have to go back to him.
Yeah, I mean, the leagues that I have Robinson, I'm done. Like, I'm completely out of it.
Make it? So it's a moot point?
Not. Yeah, of course I didn't make it. I'll win my consolation bracket with Javonte Williams and James Robinson, and it'll be great. I'll put the trophy next to Cam Akers from last season. But if you have Robinson and you've managed to make it this far, I mean, congratulations, good on you. I would probably roll him out against Houston, but know that you are really rolling the dice, man. It's like he's a great running back. If anybody thinks that Robinson is a brutal running back, it's not the case. It's this, I don't know how many times we can talk about this Jags team. It's pathetic. Urban Meyer is completely one and done. I will be absolutely shocked if this guy is not fired immediately after the season is over.
He wants out,
or if he even makes. Yeah, of course he wants out because he can't figure it out in the NFL. It's got to be embarrassing for him. Like everything has happened in the wrong way.
You mean
for
I can't
him.
go recruit and just pick off the best players everywhere, that doesn't work
wrong
here?
With him? He is not. I question the Jags front office and what the heck they were thinking here with this situation. But yeah, over the past couple weeks, I mean, even go back to week 8.
Time out. Let's also remember Washington back in the day tried to make Steve Spurrier a thing, and he tried to bring his let's run 3 different quarterbacks out there with what was it, Mitchell or who was the one? Because it was Danny Werfel the one year, and then I'm trying to remember who all these freaking quarterbacks were, but he tried 3 quarterbacks in 1 year. So anyway, I'm just saying this isn't the first organization to go down this road.
No,
Chip Kelly, hey.
At least he had some success. He had some success. Come on, the Chip Kelly offense. I remember the first time I met
Patrick
Mike Trout.
Ramsey. Thank you, Jiggles. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Patrick Ramsey. Yeah, that's right. I remember meeting Mike Trout in Toronto, a Jays and Angels game, and it was after the first game with Chip Kelly, the offense, when they went into Philly, when they had Vic and McCoy and Macklin and Deshaun, and they lit him up. And I remember Trout he was actually going over to sign for some kids, and I was like, how about that Chip Kelly offense? He was like, oh, buddy, he came right over. There was exciting times with Chip Kelly. There's been no exciting times in Jacksonville. 0. Have they done anything this season that has been exciting? What? Jamal Agnew with a couple end-arounds? What has happened in Jacksonville that's been great?
that was the exciting times. That ended right there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, poor Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I think he's definitely better than what he's shown. But yeah, I mean, the original question here, I'm sure you got to roll him out against Houston, but Seattle 4 for 22. Indy, it was a good game, 12 for 57. That is a good game against a Colts defense, but all that came in the second half. It was a lot of Hyde in the first half. San Fran, 12 for 29 and a touchdown. The last 2 weeks, 8 for 24 and 6 for 4. He's been benched a couple times. At least you said the snaps were there. Maybe that they can have a capable offense game plan, I suppose, against that Texans squad. It can be competitive, but he's got the Jets following too, so I'd play him, but it's ugly.
But you don't have to worry about it because you can't play.
I don't have to worry about it. Like, I'll just roll out some other guy in my consolation bracket.
On the other side of the ball, Deonta Foreman leads as expected with the split with Hilliard and McNichols, all of them being involved. Julio is back, and Julio looked pretty good, but didn't have a big game. But they head to Pittsburgh, and as we've seen, this is the basically two-faced defense of the world this year. It's them and the Bengals. Every single week, it's like you might get a top 10 unit, you might get blow the doors off of them. So I set that up to say this question is, do you trust Deonta Foreman in the first round of your playoffs and Julio Jones? Because A.J. Brown is still not going to be back.
No, I'm not trusting Julio. I would never roll that guy out. I wouldn't roll
a wide receiver 4?
I don't know. I think I could do better. I don't know. I think I could do better.
Are you sure about that? Here's a quick example. I'll give you a few wide receivers that consensus had as fringe wide receiver 3-4s this past week that I looked at all of them in my rankings and said, nope, low end 40s. I'll give you 3 names. Courtland Sutton, Marvin Jones,
no, I wouldn't roll it.
Emmanuel Sanders. All of them were low 30s, high 40s for consensus ranks, and all 3 of them were like, hell no. So that's my point. It's like you can do
I'd
worse.
Play Jones. I'd play Marvin Jones.
Overall them. Right.
I would play Marvin over
Jones?
Julio.
Oh,
yeah, I
no,
mean,
there's
six catches, 70 yards. Has Julio done that this year? That's 10 fantasy points.
When was the last time Marvin did that? Marvin did that
last week.
7 weeks
yesterday.
ago.
He just did it yesterday. 6 for
I
70.
Last
it's okay.
time before that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's been brutal. Yeah, week 6. I mean, Houston. Again, we're talking about Texans. I don't know. Like, you're really rolling the dice with Julio. Like, is he going to get a little bit more play? He's going to get some more snaps this week. Sure. But maybe the game plan for Tennessee is just going to be able to run, like you said. I mean, the run defense last week, they couldn't stop anybody against Minnesota. How about Dalvin Cook, right? What do I do with Dalvin Cook? He finishes RB1 for the week. I know it was Cook, but that Steelers defense, I think Tennessee's just going to run the ball like 30-plus times. I get it, man. But do you really feel comfortable in your first playoff matchup rolling out Julio Jones?
Compared to all those other options? Hell yes. All those other ones. Even Marvin Jones included. I'll take the 2 offense. I'll take the quarterback situation. I'll take everything. Yeah. I know it's a worse matchup, but yes, if I don't know why people are still rolling Sutton and Sanders, although Sanders got hurt. So, let's talk about Buffalo real quick. This is messy. So apparently it's a mild case of turf toe for Josh Allen, and he's going to likely play in Week 15. The Buffalo offense was the Buffalo offense, though, which is fine passing. Josh Allen, Dawson Knox, Stefon Diggs, other receivers might be included, and 0 run game. Devin Singletary got a little. They legitimately, for everybody that doesn't know, the entire first half did not hand the ball off once in that entire first half. Josh Allen was the only person who had rushing yards in the first half. Devin Singletary is the only one that was even relevant. Zach Moss, inactive again, Chris. But the Bills have been doing this with Zach Moss. They've been saying, if it's a run-heavy-ish with them, I mean, what is run-heavy with them? 20%? Run-heaviest script will put Zach Moss out there. If it's passing game, no Zach Moss and maybe Matt Breida sprinkled in. It's Buffalo at home against Carolina's defense, which is actually pretty good, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you play Singletary? And is there any wide receiver after Diggs that you would even mess around with? Like maybe Sanders is out and you're thinking Gabriel Davis. And so, 2 questions for you.
I probably wouldn't roll out any of the running backs. You're just hoping, I think with Singletary, you hope that the game is,
Singletary
competitive or they're down. I'll go Foreman. Yeah,
okay.
I'll go Foreman just because I know he's going to get probably double-digit carries. I don't think we can say that with Singletary. And I think I would maybe roll the dice with Gabriel Davis in like a 14-team league if there was no Emmanuel Sanders or Cole Beasley, I guess, like in a full-point PPR league. I think that was just a matchup for him against the Bucs, right? Like you could attack them a little bit in the slot, and he had 9 catches for 64 yards, so I think I'd go that way. Yeah, this Bills team, you're right, man. They just don't try to run the football. So what are we thinking here? I thought maybe Singletary would be okay yesterday. Is just like, the Bucs roll and then they, Buffalo doesn't try to run the ball, but there's a couple catches for Singletary. I think that's the only way to look at Singletary's upside. And against Carolina, I don't know. Like, is Carolina going to be able to push the pace where they score points? Cam got benched at moments yesterday, did he not? I mean, that offense looks pretty bad. So
another one. They're basically trying the Steve Spurrier thing. Like, hey, we'll use Cam for a little bit, bench him, bring in Walker. Oh, okay, we're going to go back to Cam. He scored another touchdown. Let's go back to Walker. Like, this is, so Brian Martinez, we already covered Taysom Hill. This is tune in at the beginning. Otherwise, watch on replay. That's what you. Yes, we already said Knox, Corey King. Yes, Knox was one of the ones that was guaranteed to go ahead and start on Tampa Bay. Move on. The Tampa Bay offense. Although, one question for you, Chris. He has the third receiver. He ran the third most routes. We mentioned that last week, and he did it again. Had nothing the entire game until overtime. And then Rashad Penny, big play.
They showed up.
Does that do anything for you?
Not really. I do have him stashed just in case. Just what we talked about last week. If anything were to happen to like Evans or Godwin,
yeah, because AB now can't come back till week 17.
Yeah, if at all.
I mean, well, that's if they let. I'm just saying he can't. So it comes down to whether or not they will. We didn't talk about the other side of the Houston ball with the Seattle game. Real quick, Cooks had a decent game. Burkhead was in the lead because of no David Johnson, but now he got hurt too. But this is why I'm saying it, Chris, is I actually like David Johnson for that matchup because of what Burkhead did. That's what I expected David Johnson to do because Seattle's pass defense is better than people think. And now if there's no Burkhead, David Johnson, how about this? Would you go David Johnson or would you go Deonta Foreman or would you go a Bills running back?
I definitely wouldn't go a Bills running back. I'd go DJ over him. I think I'm still leaning Foreman. Yeah, I still think I like what I've seen.
Foreman over David Johnson?
Yeah.
I'll stay. Hey, what is today's date?
Slightly.
I don't even know anymore because this 12/13 is the 13th of December. If Rex Burkhead is out, David Johnson over Deonta Foreman.
Yeah. Nice that it would be his backfield, I guess. What, Royce Freeman's in there? But what do they got this week?
So it's still his backfield.
Still his backfield, yeah.
Right? Do you know what Royce Raymond had in the running game? I think it was -1 yards.
Yeah, nothing. He played a bunch of snaps. He was just out there. Like what did he have? 11 carries, 7 targets. Did he? How many yards?
I'm legitimately asking about the yards. I don't remember exactly. I don't think he. Again, Royce Freeman, 11 for 15. He averaged a robust 1.4 yards per carry.
11 for 15. Wow, he did catch a couple balls.
He did.
So
but David Johnson over Royce Freeman. All right, so moving on from that mess. Back to the Raiders real quick. Renfro just going crazy.
What a beast. He's really good, man.
He's really Renfro, good. Let me phrase it. You know what? It's way too early because we're 3 weeks away from the end of the fantasy football season. But there's a lot of people are out there that are going to say because of where you got him, Cordero Patterson, the obvious answer. But you could call him a waiver wire MVP. You could say Elijah Mitchell, waiver wire MVP. For somebody who is drafted quite often in late rounds, is Hunter Renfrow the drafted MVP?
I think so. I think he's definitely in the conversation, isn't he, Jake? I mean, he's got 86 grabs. It's 5th among wide receivers. 5th, 86 catches. And he only has 106 targets. Like, Tyreek Hill has 90 grabs, but he has 131 targets. Devontae Adams has 90 grabs, but he has 128 targets. Like, all these guys ahead of him that are just barely ahead of him have, like, 20 to 30 more targets. Like, he's a weapon. He's really good, and he's been consistent. He's been much better lately since they lost Waller and Ruggs. He's got 3 straight 100-yard games, but earlier in the season, 6 for 70, 5 for 77. Man, he is awesome. I wonder, like, what's going to happen with him next year because they're probably going to draft a wide receiver. Is Carr the quarterback? Like, Carr really loves this guy. Like, they talk all the time. What does the chart say on third and Renfro? They say that crap all the time. But he's a great route runner. And you saw it in the end zone when he caught that ball. He's done that like 3 or 4 times this season, like that inside, outside quick. He's got great hands. He's really, really – he's a good player, man. I don't know if he's going to get overdrafted next year, but he's a good player.
He has 2 games under 8 points, and those are both 5-something. It's like so.
He's been super consistent. I think he's only one of a handful of wideouts that have had
on the year. He's inside the top
points.
15 or 16, somewhere right around there. He's like 15th or 16th on the year at wide receiver. You can probably look while I'm looking at it. Yeah, Jiggles, don't go chasing Texans running backs. I sang that. Don't go chasing waterfalls with Lauren. But yeah, when 18 people get hurt and you're down to 1, I mean, that's how things change. You know what? This is going to be such a mess. I'm sorry, Tino. I don't think we can actually do for everybody that's listening, I don't even think we can timestamp this because I wasn't, in my mind, I'm just like so excited to talk football today. I don't know why. I told you I got my third win, and I haven't been doing games together. I've been kind of jumping around because we talked Taysom Hill, but we didn't talk about the Jets offense. So, ruined that one too. So, well, mostly because like Jacksonville is what offense? There's just Jamison Crowder got nothing, stepping up. Everybody was like, oh, the volume is going to be there. It'll be good. Hey, guess who's the quarterback still? Zach Wilson guy. Tevin Coleman's out. Michael Pirine was activated. It wasn't even Austin Walter and Ty Johnson. It was Ty Johnson and Michael Pirine. And so, put it this way. If Tevin Coleman is back, do you at least care about Tevin Coleman? Because I think the answer to the other part of the question is you don't care about a single Jets player.
Yeah, you don't care about any of them. I was kicking myself yesterday having the Ty Johnson receiving yard prop. I mean, I got it late, but I was like, why would I put my money on any Jet? Like, this team...
Zach Wilson does not know how to throw to a running back.
No,
Did you see the one pass that he completed?
Yes, of course I saw it. And I was shaking my head, and that's when I was starting to sweat. Like, what am I doing here betting on Ty Johnson receiving yards? He did get it 40, but, man, it certainly sweated that out. And a lot of these rookie quarterbacks, Jake, man... I know Fields has kind of shown some highs, and Mac is he's in such a great system.
We don't get to see Lance essentially. Like the one game.
We didn't get to see Lance at all.
No, but what is it? See, like everybody craps on Taysom Hill. He just doesn't throw to the running backs a lot. Everybody, same thing. Cam Newton, all these. Like Zach Wilson just legitimately does not know how to throw to anybody that's 5 yards away from him.
No, he doesn't.
I need to throw. I can understand if it was like Colin Kaepernick who just threw a fastball, like did not know how to take pressure off the ball. It just like flings it in your face, and you're like, "Holy crap, dude! Could you chill out?"
Blake Bortles did that too.
That's a good call. I forgot about Blake Bortles did that a lot too. But Brett Favre was the one that was known for that for a really long time. Yes. The guys coming out of games with like the marks on their body, but. Good God, what is wrong with Zach Wilson? So let's move on from that mess. Let's talk Atlanta and Carolina, where we've kind of touched on the Cam Newton situation 3 times now. That's not the only split we have to deal with, Chris, because the running back is split, as kind of expected. Hubbard was out there, got the touchdown. Amir Abdullah split, not quite 50-50, but it was pretty close, and it looks like, and according to some of the this is from beat writers. This is not me saying it, but I know it's going to sound like it because this is what I was saying a lot about this situation. But the beat writers are also saying it looks like it would be more Amir Abdullah if they are passing, more of Hubbard if running. And Hubbard had the touchdown yesterday. You go back to the Carolina game, which I mentioned before. What do you think, Carolina at Buffalo, who doesn't let most teams run on them, except Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry, and Jonathan Taylor.
Good backs, I guess.
But, yeah, well, so... Hubbard or Abdullah, do you even waste your time because it's kind of a split backfield? And if Cam Newton was your quarterback, you're kind of playing like, it's Taysom Hill, fun, blah, blah, blah. There's no way you can trust Cam Newton in Week 15, right?
No, I don't think so. At Buffalo, tough spot. I mean, he's had some decent games there. He was pretty good last year in a game against Buffalo when he was a member of the Pats. But no, I don't think so. And it probably would be a Amir Abdullah game, right? If I'm thinking game script here at Buffalo, that you would think that Amir, I mean, he played more snaps than him. He didn't have more touches, but you would think that maybe he could fall into 4 or 5 grabs, maybe in a full-point PPR league, in a deep league. You can roll him out as a flex, but certainly risky. I do think Chuba's the lead, but as you said, the Bills' rush defense, for the most part, has been pretty solid. They've just been torched against really good running backs. It's not the case here, with no disrespect to Chuba.
Well, until Josh Allen, or until Mitch Trubisky rolls out there, and then all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden it's a 13-10 game, and it's more Hubbard. How about for the quiet Cowboys? I say that because Zeke, with no Tony Pollard, myself included, a lot of people moved him up to a low-end RB1. And it was looking that right until they hit halftime. And then halftime came around because they were just blowing doors off Washington. And all of a sudden, we started a lot of run from the backups, including Clement, which, you know him from your Eagles days. So not your Eagles days, his Eagle days. But are you worried at all about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott? You know, Cooper got the touchdown, but both he and CeeDee Lamb had, like, for their respective versions of themselves, had kind of quiet days. Schultz has pretty much fallen off the map. What are your thoughts if you're headed into week 1 of your playoffs or consolation bracket, or maybe your playoffs haven't started yet. Maybe you're a 10-team league and it's only 4 teams make it. How concerned are you for the Cowboys offense?
I think they'll get right against the Giants, but with Dak. Well, let's be honest, right? You got the Giants.
No, that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah,
they're on their way to 2 top 5 picks.
They are, which is good, right? That's what you want. I really should look more into Dak splits. I know inside the division he's owned them. I think heading into yesterday he was 18-8 against the spread against them, and he won last night. Luckily, with that pick 6, he really just kind of covered there. But he's a different quarterback on the road, isn't he? He really is, man. Again, I don't have some of these numbers to back it up, but I remember talking about this before last season when the boys struggled. 2 years ago when they really did struggle on the road. I'm not overly concerned about the offense. I think they kind of get right with some of these games, the Giants, Washington, and Philadelphia to wrap things up. Maybe they're just going to be resting guys in that Week 18 game. It's possible they'll just have that division locked up. The division's locked up now anyways, that win last night. But Zeke, I do have some concerns.
Dallas could win one and Washington can win out. If Washington wins out the rest of the way because they still play one more time and Dallas loses at least one additional game, then yeah, it's still open.
Well, it's not going to happen. But I am worried about Zeke. Aren't you?
Okay. Yeah, Zeke. Yes, because of what happened yesterday. Because clearly it was two things. He did look fine in the first half. He looked fine, but he looked fine for what Zeke is this year. Is that he slowed down a little bit since the first half of the season. But the second part of it is because they had the lead. They clearly don't want to run him into the ground, and they started going to Clement. He got some more touches late when things got close again. But that kind of tells you. That's your concern, is that if Pollard is activated or back next week, is that this is going to be a split. I want to just, I'm not poo-pooing you so much, Chris. It's just, this is the narrative people had for Ben Roethlisberger for about 2 years in a row about he stinks on the road. And I remember that because at the time I asked Mike Tomlin and I'm like, I asked Mike Tomlin at the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation football thing. He heads that up anyway, so I was able to talk to him while he was here, and I asked him, I said, is there anything to Ben Rose splits? And he goes, it's not much of anything. Like, some guys are just more comfortable at home, sleeping in their own houses. Our game plan is a little bit different because you want to do things where you have less, verbal cues for audibly and stuff like that, so maybe they're just a little bit more uncomfortable. He goes, but there's probably nothing to it. And what, interestingly enough, that very next year was the year that Ben Roethlisberger almost had 0 home run splits. It was almost straight down the middle. And I'm looking at Dak's game log. First game this year, 403 in Tampa Bay. Just a few weeks ago, well, not a few weeks, week 6 at New England, 445 and 3. Yes, recently at New Orleans, meh. At Washington, meh. At Kansas City, super meh. But I think we need that graphic. We should have that Superman graphic right there. But let's also, at New Orleans, very good defense. At Washington, has been playing better defense of late as a division rival. And Kansas City, we've been talking about how good their defense has been of late. So I'm not hating on you.
No, I do have some numbers, though. I get it. I do have some numbers, though. Like, at home, he's got 16 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's got a QBR of 115. This year on the road, he's got 8 touchdowns, 8 picks, a QBR of 849. Forget last year. He only played a couple of games. 2019 at home, he averaged 327 passing yards. He had 20 touchdowns and 7 picks in 8 games. On the road in 8 games, he had 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, and he 285 passing yards, so like 30, 40 fewer. Like, it's not crazy difference, but there is a difference. But also at the same time, you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks. Like, it is challenging to go on the road.
More comfortable at home, like I said. You have different audible cues and all that type of stuff. On Washington's side, Heineke's hurt. Sounds like he should be okay. They actually, as of today, being Monday, expect him to be ready. Antonio Gibson, really not much in this game.
He got benched.
The game got out of hand. There was no, so. I was saying, so McLaurin was hurt. Nothing for Ricky Seals-Jones splitting with Bates. Is this just kind of throw the game away type of situation? And that if Heineke, McLaurin, Gibson in week 15, you just fire them up anyway?
Yeah, I think so, right? I figure Slay's going to be on McLaurin. I mean, he's been playing pretty good, but I think
that's why I asked if you would even fire him up.
I think you could have better situations. Like, if you're in one of those 10-team leagues where you roll 2 wideouts, I would imagine McLaurin, he wouldn't be on my radar as 2. Like, I'll probably rank him, I don't know where you'd rank him, probably for me, like low end wide receiver 2, like in the high teens, early 20s. I do have a lot of respect for Slay. But I would play Gibson. I think it's just, he had that costly fumble, and I think he did get benched. And even when they're kind of getting back into that game, they didn't want to mess up the mojo. So I think he'd get the benefit of the doubt. But that was a big I don't know what the words like. I was in on
Kerfuffle?
Gibson to have yeah, sure. I thought he'd get 20 touches. His rushing yard prop was like 66 catches. I thought he'd get 20 plus opportunities in that game. And just
I had a very disappointing DFS lineup to what you're talking about because for the snap opportunity, the snap workload and everything like that, Gibson and Josh Jacobs. But both those games went sideways so fast.
Oh yeah,
that they barely saw the field, and both of them had a very much of a letdown game. We didn't really hit on that. You're not putting that much weight into the Jacobs because of what I just mentioned. It's just move on. Just like Gibson, just keep him back out there.
Yeah, I think so. I thought Jacobs would have a few more grabs. He had a career high 9 catches the week before, and even thought with the Chiefs rolling that we'd get a few more catches out of him. But that game was 30-0 within at the end of the first or something silly like that. So you're rolling out.
Speaking of silly, how you like that? Speaking of that, Craig Reynolds, everybody. So a couple things here is we're getting news today, too, that part of the reason for Craig Reynolds and not a lot of Jamar Jefferson is because Jefferson barely practiced the entire week. So between the injury and also getting sick, apparently barely saw the field in practice. He is a rookie who barely saw the field in practice. He's a rookie who barely seen the field, period, this year. So that's understandable. But this is how I want to phrase the question to you. It's not for the waiver show. It's not for anything like this, Jeff. Who's Jeff? Chris.
Jeff. What day is it?
I'm drunk. So when it comes down to it, the reason I'm asking is because we got word from Adam Schefter who said, I picked up Craig Reynolds. I have a feeling this is kind of like Elijah Mitchell earlier this year. The problem, this is what I was teasing before with Alex Collins. We also got a beat reporter telling us Alex Collins was getting the first team. There's a danger in paying too much attention to Sunday morning 12 o'clock news. Not inactives.
Yes.
No, I'm saying not inactives. I'm talking about the first snaps and the first, second, third team that are doing their practice snaps on the field. This is who's running which each level. Wide receiver blank has been just kind of jogging on the sidelines. He's going to be a decoy today, DeAndre Hopkins. All this type of stuff. So that's why I want to say is, when you see Schefter, is that different? Should we have paid more attention to Schefter saying Craig Reynolds is going to be a thing? Or, how do we – I mean, I know what I would give as advice, but, Chris, how do you go through the noise at 12 o'clock on Sunday mornings? Or do you just tune it all out and the Craig Reynolds situation – well, now I'm just kind of giving my answer – is do you tune it all out and the Craig Reynolds situation is 1 out of 10. It happens, but it's more the anomaly than the norm.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. I kind of tune it out. I hear it. It's great. Schefter's reporting it. Fantastic. I trust Schefter.
Brian Martinez said no because Schefter's team would suck if he had to start him. So
which is fair, right? I mean, what's he doing? Rolling out. What is he doing? Rolling out Craig Reynolds. He's in a tough spot. That consolation bracket, Schefter. You're going to have a nice go there. But, some of these beat reporters, too, I mean, no disrespect to some of them. They're just guessing. They really are. So I take the information and I make my own decisions. And Schefter he's on top of the world, but whatever Schefter says, it's not going to be by all means. I'm going to just change my entire lineup with Reynolds in there. But yeah, I mean, how do you look at it?
I told you. I just
I'd take Schefter more than other people.
Sure,
but
I put other guys. So where I put in almost zero weight until all the 12 o'clocks, this guy's running with this, like the Alex Collins thing. I'm almost when Schefter said it, I was like, okay, maybe a desperation play, but I'm not putting in a lot. Just by the way, you said on top of the world. They played that during the game last night too when they were doing their little graphic thing. That is now the second time, and now the Imagine Dragons stupid song "I'm on Top of the World" is stuck in my head. Thank you a lot, Chris. I hate you. I hope everybody else gets to enjoy that misery, too. I hope that's stuck in all of your heads, too. I'm not going to sing it because I cannot sing, but we can celebrate. You know who was on top of the world for a brief time? Somebody who finally got in the end zone. Somebody who could finally celebrate about. Someone you'll have to watch the other show to see because there is a signed jersey behind this TV, showing BetsTV, that is from Saquon Barkley. And we can finally celebrate the return of RB1 Saquon Barkley.
That's just a statement. RB1.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
Saquon.
it.
That's it. Yeah,
he's an RB1. He was an RB1 anyway, right? It was fringe. It was risky. It's Mike Glennon. All intents and purposes. Let's make that
good
case
matchup.
Because of that offense almost looked like the Jaguars' offense. Let's be real about what that game looked like. If you were watching that game It was disgusting. Penny is so good, he scored in that game too. For anybody that doesn't know, Elijah Penny took the touchdown. Mike Glennon ran for a touchdown, but Mike Glennon was trash. The offense was trash. Sterling Shepard didn't get a catch until like the third quarter. We're rolling out Barkley against Dallas, but is it legitimately as an RB1 or is it still an RB2?
I think he's still an RB2, man. He's got all the skill in the world, but it's the same thing we've been talking about all the time. It's just the Giants offense, the play calling, the quarterback play. It's just... Those are two big names, right, in the offseason that will be talked about a lot, is what we talked earlier with Zeke and then Saquon. Where are these guys going to fall in to, like, the ADP? Are they going to be first-round picks anymore? I don't think Zeke will be. I think Saquon still has that upside and that ability, but we need to see a lot of changes with the Giants. Barkley will be, but I don't know if I'm going to touch him, man. They need to have they'll need to address a lot of things here. I'm sure they're going to get a couple of solid pieces in the offseason, at least through the draft, but yeah, I mean, you roll him out. It's Barkley. You got into the playoffs with Saquon. You know his upside. You can't sit him because he could break one, and then that's it.
I scored a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
I buy the Austin Eckler helmet, and he gets hurt. You said, like I said, it sounds like it should be okay. Keenan Allen should be back, so that's not much to go with the Chargers. If Eckler was out, full-blown committee, Jackson, Kelly, possibly Roundtree even sprinkled in. Well, that would be the committee timeshare between the other two, and I want to get too invested in that. They'd probably be falling into the David Johnson conversation and range of running backs. Speaking of running backs, when can we make Deebo Samuel a running back? Hopefully Elijah.
Man, he's impressive. Talk about a weapon. That guy's a weapon. Holy crap, man.
Until Elijah Mitchell comes back, is Deebo Samuel running back. He just ruined half of Jeff Wilson's day.
I know, he really did. I thought Wilson would be okay. Deebo was a little hesitant to take his receiving yard prop at 50 is because he's more, I guess, willing to, with Shanahan, he's more willing to roll him out there and get your 50 yards on the ground than 50 yards through the air. But yeah, he's pretty impressive, man.
So there was late passing in this game on both sides. George Kittle went bananas late again in that game, or late, just in general went bananas. But Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense looked nothing for the most of the it was gross. Awful. The Bengals this week head to Denver. How concerned are you for Joe Burrow? I mean, I feel like we have to start Chase and Higgins, but if Burrow's your quarterback, question mark? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, you know what? I don't feel all that great. I did like the last few moments of that game where he came back, but you got the finger issue, and then you got to go into Mile High into Denver, and this team is going to be a big game for both squads. Denver's alive. They're alive in the playoffs. They're going to play the teams that they need to beat. Alive? I guess, yeah.
Jacksonville, Houston.
Yeah, there's a ton of teams in the AFC that are alive besides those two. But yeah, a big game here, Cincinnati for Denver, and I believe they play the Chargers too, so that's going to be a big one more against the Raiders. So I don't think I would be looking for other options. Like we mentioned Hurts, we mentioned Taysom. These guys are certainly players that I would roll out ahead of Joe Burrow. But he does have those weapons where he could give you, I guess, 16 to 17 fantasy points, but I wonder about that blow-up ceiling. I don't know if he's going to get you 348 and 2 scores like he just did.
Okay, before we get out of here, the last question. Matchup passing-wise, potentially, of the week, and who's been showing a little bit of life himself, in a game where at halftime, people said he should probably just retire at halftime. And then Ben Roethlisberger comes out, and Ben Roethlisberger is going to finish as a QB1 this week. He has multiple times. You're starting Burrow over Roethlisberger, are you? Or is there at least some hesitation in your mind where you might say Ben Roethlisberger home against Tennessee versus Joe Burrow in Denver? You're smiling. I know you're at least contemplating it. You're not going to do it.
Of course.
You would never bench Burrow for Roethlisberger. But the point being, you contemplated it at least for a second, and that's all I wanted to do before we get out of here.
Yeah, sucker.
We didn't even talk Chicago Green Bay, but who cares? We'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow.
What's there to talk about? Some crazy random special teams play from the Bears, but again, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams pitch and catch.
It did. Reminder. I'm going to remind everybody every single day this week. By the way, reminder, tomorrow 11 a.m. with Lauren for waivers. But reminder, 2 Saturday games this week. Las Vegas at Cleveland, New England at Indianapolis. You're going to set your lineups on Saturday for those games. We'll be back tomorrow, as I mentioned, at Chris Meaney. Make sure you're following him at FTN. Make sure theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals, thumbs up, subscribe. Hopefully you're in the playoffs, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.